Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps podcast. I've got Tim back with me. We got some big news regarding the fact that the finals have happened with the Challenge Cup and Champions Cup, and we go breaking into the quarterfinals, which is heating up the URC. Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm good, yourself, mate. I'm good.
I'm good. I saw you posted some nice pictures of you taking out people there in Germany. The EFF would be happy that you're back invading them and colonizing their games.
Oh man,
But
it was nice to get on the pitch again. I haven't played for a while, and it was a nice game. I had a
the
lot of
clips that
fun.
I saw, but the clips that I saw, you look like you're having fun and everything like that. We'll post the clip to the YouTube channel in our Facebook and on Twitter. You can click and go have a look at how the level of South Africa compared to the level of Germany is.
Funny enough, that side was like majority expats that we played against.
uh, but anyway, let's break into this week. As you know, we have the finals coming up. So as you can probably see, coming up now is that there's 18 days.
Oh yeah. Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
Yes, I mean it's 18 days. I mean beforehand, last year you would like think yes, we got such a now it's minuscule errors cost you the whole season and everything. But talking about minuscule mistakes, we had the Champions Cup final this weekend, and the champions ended up being Bordeaux. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably because I was also hoping Bordeaux would lose and Northampton would win. But I feel like there was a bit of favoritism on the field. It seemed like Bordeaux had 16 men on the field with the ref. 17 if you include Marius Jonker at TMO. But yeah, just for me, there was quite a few calls that went against Northampton that Bordeaux was getting away with. But I will say this though, Northampton did throw that game away. They didn't keep fighting. They kind of just went back a bit, and
I feel like they just ran out of gas, mate. I think they just ran out of gas. I think they literally just ran out of gas.
It was probably a bit of that, but I think everybody ran out of gas in the last like 20 minutes. So it was like nothing happening in 20 minutes. It was literally back and forth with nothing really happening, no excitement. But yeah.
No, but if you look at it, if you look at the second half, you know, Saints didn't put a single point on the board.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't put a single point on the board.
And the points that they did put on, they then gave away a penalty, which got the try reversed. So, yeah. That's what I said. I think it just got to a point where both teams just got a bit stagnant and everything like that. But the day before, we had the matchup between Bath and Lyon. And I must be honest, the scrums looked pretty much stalemate until Volko and Van Wyk came on. Then Bath just literally took the thing away, and that in the end was able to get them to become champions of the Challenge Cup.
Massive human being.
I think it was the one game Joe Marler got man of the match for Harlequins against Bath. And they were like, yo, so how does it feel to be man of the match? He goes, are you guys blind? Like, did you see Volko Low? He absolutely destroyed everyone in those scrums and rucks. I mean, I've seen his legs, and they are literally
he's enormous. Sorry, he's absolutely enormous.
But our live, but that was Volko Low. It was Volko Low. Sorry, I'm thinking of Thomas Dutoy. He's at Sharks. I get the two confused. I do apologize.
Isn't Thomas Dutoy at Bath?
Yeah, so Thomas Dutoy. That is right. So Thomas Dutoy is Volko Low's at Bulls. So yeah, Dutoy.
Volko Low's at the Bulls. Thomas Dutoy is at Bath.
Sorry, I do
at the bar.
apologize for my mix up there. Yeah. So, but Thomas
No, all
Tutoy
good.
as well.
Thomas the Toy is a good player. I think he's very underrated actually.
Yeah, I mean, when he came on along with Van Beek, the other South African, in the scrums, you literally saw Leon go backwards. Like beforehand, it was pretty much hit. It was the hook that won the ball. When those two South Africans came on, they literally just pushed everybody back. It was a different scrum, which just proves the point. When it comes to scrumming, South Africa is a completely different level at scrumming.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the coming up test matches go, especially what sort of side we put out. It's going to be interesting to see where South Africa's going for the World Cup. What route they're going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting to see how things are going to go and everything like that. But now that that's over, we are going to move forward onto the playoffs and the quarterfinals. As you can see, we pretty much got these two and these two going up, so we kind of know what semifinals should kind of look like. Mario, who isn't with us because he's doing assignments, good luck, Mario, has sent us some predictions that I spat out, which we'll look at the end. But these are the games that we are having this week, starting off on Friday with Glasgow and Stormers, then Bulls, Edinburgh, Leinster versus Scarlets, and Sharks versus Munster. But now talking about those games, let's actually go look and break down some of those games right now. As you can see right now, it's leaning in what's called Glasgow's favor. The last time Stormers beat Glasgow was in the first URC.
Yeah.
Back then, and that was 22-23 season. Glasgow right now, as you can see, have 4 games on the trot against us, 1 away, 3 at home, which does work in their favor in the stats. But as you can see, Glasgow has lost 4 of their last 7 with a losing streak of 3 at the moment, where Stormers have won the 6 other past 7 with a 4-game winning streak right now, which does put them on a high and everything. And I just read Glasgow's also lost a couple of the international players due to being rested for the break and Lions. So that does work in Stormers' favor.
Are they actually resting their players? That's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's just to blow smoke up the Stormers' butts to give them a nice, yes, we can do this.
I think they're going to play. I think they'll play their full strength.
Then we got.
No, this is gonna be for me. This is gonna be the game of the weekend for me. I think.
I honestly don't know why they put this picture up as the poster for the game. I would have gone Akka versus Dua and Funamava versus Funamava.
Yeah.
Brother versus brother. I mean, as you can see right now, stats look in Bulls' favor with the fact that they've won 2 of the games at home, where Edinburgh has won 3, but they have been at home, never away. Bulls have won 6 out of their last 7, and they're on a 5-game winning streak. Edinburgh have won 4, drawn 1, lost 3, and are on a 2-game winning streak. So I think right now, in the favor, it does look like it's going to Bulls. But
I would back the Bulls on current form, 100%.
I'm also actually pretty much backing the Bulls right now in this game.
I think the Bulls are the informed South African team at the moment.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, as you can see, I'm all for the Stormers and everything.
Likewise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy. Yeah. It's going to be a close game. Either way it goes.
It's going to be
this game.
Test match. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. This game, on the other hand, the 2 teams are going to come out fighting. I mean, you're looking at the Bulls with a pretty much star-sided side, either current or former players from the Springboks.
Bulls are
with
fantastic side. They're
yeah.
absolutely a great rugby side. You got to give them respect. They've got a fantastic pack of forwards, and now they're starting to play this expansive rugby, and they've sort of got this nice combination between the two going at the moment. It's nice to watch.
I think where the Bulls are slacking right now is an experienced fly off with the like of Coulson being out again with injury. And
Yeah,
I'm not saying that their current fly halves are bad. I just don't think they have the experience that they would like right now. But then you got the likes of Villy, who is very much, even though as a player, he's mentoring the next generation up. So that does work in their favor as well. But
100%.
that's one position that they might be struggling with. I would honestly start Butcher Chamberlain because he's a lot more experienced right now. But that's my. I'm not the coach. I don't have to make that decision. Uh, yeah,
But these have
Edinburgh
been
again.
close,
Yeah,
been close
Edin-
games, all of them.
yeah, Edinburgh at this moment, I think they might be struggling a bit again as well. Like you said last week, it's now you're coming into that international break where the Lions are going to play. How do you go into this game? Do you hold
Yeah,
yourself back with the fact that your Lions jersey is on the line, especially against a
yeah,
hard hitting team like the Bulls?
yeah. Can you imagine getting injured just before the Lions tour? I mean, oh man,
I
that
mean,
would be devastating.
Caden Moody might look small, but he doesn't feel small.
Bro, Caleb really is big. He's a big dude, and
But that's what I
he is
said.
strong, bro.
He's deceptive. That's what I'm saying. He might not look like a solid machine compared to some of the other guys in the forwards, but he's a some
Sure.
he's a beefy boy. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, then the game that Leinster is probably going to be fearing in a sense, and the only reason why I say that is who's ever come first in the URC logs has never won the URC. And yeah, they're number one again. Us Scarlets are probably going to go into this with a bit of confidence because, as you can see there, Leinster's last loss was to the Scarlets.
I don't see it happening again.
But again, that was also Leinster at home. I mean, not Leinster, Scarlets at home. It wasn't away. But as you can see, Leinster are on a 2-game win streak with winning 5 out of the past 7, where Scarlets have won 4 of the same, but they had lost their last game, so they're not really on a streak. So they're probably going there with some confidence, knowing that they can beat them, but I don't see this team beating Leinster right now.
I don't think so either. I think it will be, and I don't think it's going to be close either. I think
Yeah.
Lens will put 20 points on them.
But I mean, if you look at the stats from the Super Brew, I mean, look, okay, a few years ago it was that, but 36, 22, 8, and then 5, and then literally everything over 20 over the next, and then it was just that one game that they lost.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't see it happening again.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure we will see the Leicester progressing.
yeah. I think the next game could be where Leinster loses it,
Correct.
according
There, I
to
think they
the
might
history.
struggle, but I don't see it in this round.
Yeah,
Really, I would love it to happen, but I just don't see it, unfortunately.
yeah. Unfortunately, even if I put
Hey,
money on this
I
game,
hope
my
they
money
prove me
would be
wrong.
on the
Huh?
blue.
I would love to be proven wrong. Go Scarlets! Like I would
Yeah,
love to be proven wrong.
I think right now all of Wales will be behind Scarlets right now.
Oh man, Welsh are good peoples.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, especially with Wales' current state of rugby at the moment, I think
Yeah, it'd
something
be
like
good
this
for
will,
Wales. You know, it'd be
yeah,
good for Wales. Leinster, man, freaking, they've got how many players from Ireland, and they just
yeah,
They remind me of the Real Madrid of rugby.
Yeah, no, that is true. But yeah, then the last game of the week, which unfortunately and probably for a good reason that we don't have Dara and Jacques, being Sharks versus Munster. Last time Munster played against the Sharks at the Shark Tank, they lost the game. As you can see, Sharks right now are 6 out of 7 with a 4-game win streak, where Munster have won 3 out of their last 7 and are a 2-game win streak. So right now, Munster's not on top of the world, but I do think they're going to come back and try and get redemption from their last game that they played.
You know what? I've got to go Sharks here. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a star-laden side, and they are a big match side, so they tend to turn up at the right times. And you know, I think they'll get it done, especially at home. With that side that they have, I think it'll be a Sharks victory there.
No, I'm going to have to go with Sharks as well. Sorry, Dara. But
Yeah,
you must be
apologize,
concentrating
man.
on your exams. Not so much on this game until Saturday. But yeah. Right now, it just looks like the Sharks have just clicked. They look like they're just getting everything together. Also, right now, with the fact that the Springbok team isn't defined, a lot of players, both in Stormers and Bulls right now, are going to be playing their hearts out, trying to put their hand up, knowing that getting into the Springbok side isn't just a walk in the park. It is a fight.
Yeah, what a culture Rusty has formed around the Springboks. You know, there's no givens. You know, even the stores of the game. There's no walk-ons anymore. You know, Billy LaRue, for example. You know,
the fact that he's already stated he's not going to the next World Cup, but he is going to get his 100 cap. I mean, that already tells you. But also at the same time,
he deserves his 100. He deserves it.
But at the same, sorry. At the same time, he's also said he's not getting rid of. He's not just going to go, oh, Willie, here's your 100 cap. Thank you, bye bye, and stuff. He's still going to use Willie behind the scenes. And I mean, you look, Dwayne Vermeulen's working behind the scenes right now. I bet he's got a few others. But I was also listening to him talk to Nick Mallet on his own podcast, where he said out of the whole time that Sia's been captain, he's only probably had a single conversation one-on-one with Sia about 10 times. Because he doesn't want to be like, okay, you and me are going to talk and become friends, because then, you know, when he's not performing, but you know what, he's fine because he's my friend and I like him more than anything else. He's like, no, everybody's equal. So I'm not, if I spend 10 minutes with you, I'm going to spend 10 minutes with that player, that person, that person, that person, that person, which I do also like, because it makes them all realize everybody's equal. And also, you're not just in the team because you were in the team last week.
Yeah. Sorry, the church bells are going off. I apologize.
I can't hear them, so that's fine.
Yeah, you can't hear them. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's, you know, it's again the brilliance of the man.
You have to give him his dues. But I mean, yeah, before we carry on with the rest of it, this is what AI predicts. Yeah, Glasgow up by 8, so it's Bulls walking away with it in a sense. Leinster, like you said, we're going to walk away from the Scarlets. Sharks going down. I mean, that's the only home team that actually really loses, according to AI. But please understand, this is just AI prediction with everything. I'm going to have to go against some of these. Like this.
Yeah, myself included. Especially the last one.
Yeah.
The Sharks
aren't going. Yeah, this I think is going to be a lot closer than we see it here.
I think it's going to be a couple of points in the game, but I think it'll be high scoring, funny enough. I think it'll be like high 20s both sides, or early 30s both sides.
I think whoever loses needs to walk off with their head held high. It's going to be one of those games.
Oh man, I don't doubt it. This is going to be, it's going to be all.
Yeah. This one again, I think it's going to kind of come down to this kind of scoreline.
Yeah,
Bulls are
I'm not
definitely going to be.
this one. I'm not opposed to. I actually think this is quite realistic.
Yeah. Along with this one as well, I also think this could be a bit realistic.
I think it's going to be higher. I think it's going to be mid 40s, but
Okay.
also around 10, 12 points.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Sharks again as well. I think it could come a bit closer because, like I said, it's going to be a tooth and nail game. However, I was looking at it. There's two. So if you look at this, Stormers, Edinburgh, and Munster have a terrible travel arrangement. In the fact, I think the only ones that are going to be really fresh and kind of used to everything will be the Scarlets team because it's literally just across the channel and you're in Ireland.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact apparently the Stormers are already in Glasgow, which is probably a good thing for them.
They would be. I think they would travel early.
I don't know about the other teams how they're faring right now, where they've been and everything because I haven't heard anything on their traveling arrangements.
I mean, I would be interested to see what Edinburgh do going to Loftus. Do they go early and get used to it and have a couple of training sessions up there in altitude?
At this level, I would say yes. That's what they need to do.
Well, I would say yes too, but I mean, if you go back one of the international sides, the coach basically kept them in Durban, and then flew them like the day before the Test match in Victoria.
Yes, I know the couple of games where the Lions and Stormers were swapping partners. Like we played Connacht, and Connacht only left Thursday evening to go to Ellis Park. So they arrived, they slept over Friday, Saturday, then they played. That means you only have like maybe a day and a half to really get ready in that thing.
And also, it's different.
Yeah.
It's playing different. It really is.
And they ended up losing that game. And then there was the same thing with Benetton. They only came down on Thursday. Again, completely different environment.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I mean that's where you throw away the games and everything like that in that regard. And I even know Ospreys at one stage before the Sharks game, they only flew in on Thursday as well because Jack Morgan was on the airplane when he found out that he was is it Jack Morgan? Yeah, Jack Morgan found out that he was a Lions while he was on the airplane on their flight into Durban.
Huh.
So I think some of the traveling is a bit messed up with the way they do things. But
yeah, I agree.
I'm not the one managing that kind of stuff because that's the kind of thing I would be saying like, okay, cool. As soon as we finish this game, what's the first flight that we can get out of wherever? So if I'm playing up in Loftus and I am a what's it called? I'm like, all right, cool. Is there a flight on Sunday morning? Yes. All right, cool. Everybody who can fly, boom, on that plane, up we go. Next place. Have the week to prepare. Whereas, yeah, I don't know why they delay that. I mean, you'll hear Dara often talk altitude. I mean, here in South Africa, altitude, it's just over the mountain. It's fine. But for them, it's a different altitude altogether. I mean, you'll probably feel it if you come back home at some point.
No, I mean, you'll feel it. I mean, if you go from Cape Town to Victoria, you're going to feel the altitude. Obviously, it's sea level at Cape Town, and you go to Victoria, you'll feel it. Trust me. It changes. Like, one thing I did notice a whole heap when I was in altitude was how far you can kick a rugby ball.
Yeah.
Like, it travels. Like, it really freaking travels. You feel superhuman. Like, I've never kicked the ball that far. Like, it is awesome. In that
and then you see a 9-year-old on the side of the field kicking the same way. You're like, holy crap. Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty much insane. It's going to be exciting rugby this week coming up, which I am actually really, really looking forward to.
Awesome.
Yeah, so cool. It's getting. I know there's still talk about Lions and everything like this. I
I'm
see.
super excited for the Lions too. I must tell you, I'm actually
Yeah,
very excited.
I see. What you call it? Australia just released their what you call it? Uh, current contracts and everything of players.
Yeah,
So that will be some, how can I say, happiness for them and like confidence booster that there's a couple of players knowing that they have got Rugby Australia contracts and will probably cause them to fight a bit more to keep their spots.
yeah. But
So
I
yeah,
think Australia's on the up. It's just I feel that the coach has done wonders there, and yeah, he has
I
more time
still
with him.
I'm still questioning their mindset because you hosting the World Cup, the last thing you want to do is disrupt the apple cart because now literally after this, Joe Smith saying bye, and then you're having a
Yeah,
new coach.
I
Yes,
don't understand that. I mean, he's a fantastic coach. He knows what he's doing. He's already like I feel like there's something in the background happening, and
yeah.
yeah,
I, I think it's a silly move. I mean, if you weren't hosting the World Cup, okay, cool, that's fine. But you're hosting the World Cup.
you got a world like he's a world class coach. He is really good. He's one of the best coaches on the planet at the moment. And
Yeah,
what he's done for you guys already, I mean, the turnaround in Australian rugby in the last freaking 2 years has been really good, or a year and a half.
no, I mean that is true, and I mean it's unlike the one thing saw this week was the only tier one team that can boast they've never lost a World Cup semi final. That's Ireland, an incredible record. Uh,
Yeah,
but I mean, no other coach can really have that record that is that he's got. I mean, as much as being a South African, you're like, yeah, no, we're the best. You have to give it to him. And I've also questioned sometimes, honestly, like, why is it that Rugby South Africa is so adamant just getting a South African to coach? Why can't we go international? And that was, I'm talking about the Peter de Villiers, Alistair Coetzee periods, where we were good, but we weren't quite there. There was like something missing at those points. So there was Peter de
I
Villiers, Henny
mean,
Kamea, and Alistair Coetzee. I always thought we were missing just something at that point. Then Rassi came in and Rassi gave us what was missing at that point, which of course grassroots and everything else. But I think that's what Joe Smith did for Ireland. He got that bit that was missing that Ireland needed just to give them that extra, which has
yeah,
made them the force that they are now.
but he's doing the same in Australia at the moment, and now they're getting
Yeah,
rid of him. It's just it's mind-boggling.
and I
It
mean when
absolutely
he,
blows my mind. I just don't understand it. And it's it's the World Cup is not that far away. It's also unfair on the new coach coming in because he doesn't have enough time to prepare. I mean, other sides have been preparing for the World Cup the last 4 years.
I mean Rassi's already planning for the next one, 2031. Um,
Exactly. You know,
but I mean
so
when Rassi came in with the expectation of no, 2019 is not our year.
yeah, correct.
And it just fell into place for us that 2019 was our year. 2023 was the year that we were meant to win the World Cup. And we went on, and it was a astronomical one because we were the first team to win it 4 times. We were the second team to win it back to back. We were also the second team to win it after losing a game in the group stages. But 2019 be the first time that we had won it, or a team had won it after losing a game in the group stages. No team had ever done it prior to South Africa in
Yeah,
2019 and 2023.
that's correct.
Yeah, so
And we're also the only team who hasn't lost a World Cup final.
yep. Though ironically, 50% is against New Zealand and 50% is against England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 95 was New Zealand, 2007 England, 2019
2019 England.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
it would
I
be
never
nice.
thought about that. I actually never thought about that.
Yeah. Though I also an interesting fact with England is we've never lost to England in a knockout game. We've only ever lost to them in a pool game in the World Cup. So I mean, that was 2003 where we lost to them in a pool game. Yeah. 99. Yeah, 99 was that was one. I pulled that stat up for the was it the 2023 World Cups. I pulled that stat up for someone for a function that they were having for the semi-final, and when I showed them that, they were like, that is also an interesting fact. I was like, yeah, we won this game because the stats, well, at that point, the stats were for us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was, I probably lost a few years in the World Cup with the fact that the last 3 games were won by 1 point.
Yeah. Stress levels were next level for me.
And then, you know what made it even worse for me is then in the URC, the Stormers were winning by 1 or 2 points for a period of time. I literally sat there with my brother-in-law, the one game, and I was like, can we just stop? And he's like, what? I'm like, look at the score. So I'm like, yeah, what was the last score? He goes, I don't know. It was like 1917. What was the score before that one? I was like, 28-26. What was the game against the Bulls? 15-16. What was the game against the Sharks? 17-19. He's like, I'm like, yeah, like they just need, like South Africa's rugby just needs to go, okay, 1 or 2 point wins out the bag. Now we're going to start running away with it.
Yeah. Must have been Twickenham game against New Zealand where we won by 30.
And then we still lost to Argentina by 1. I think it was 1 or 2 in Argentina in the last championship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we lose very fine. But when we win, we win. Now, at the moment. Yeah. Touch wood. That it stays that way. Oh, and before I forget, it is literally 4 weeks, 2 days until the first Springbok game.
I know. Very excited. Very, very excited.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, it's exactly a month away from today. On the 28th of June, where Springboks take on Barbarians. And I've already heard rumors that the 10 is Cohen Bosch. So that is quite interesting. I've also heard
he's a great player.
Yeah. I just think he lost out. I think it was his defense that let him down. And everything like that. But he can at least hold his head high going, no, I've been a Springbok. Now he's been invited to the Barbarians. This will be a nice time for him to prove Rassie wrong for being overlooked.
Yeah, of course. And Rassie's always open to it too, which I like. He's always willing to give guys chances.
So I mean, that's been. I know apparently there's issues with Evan Roos playing for the Barbarians. I think it's got to do with the player management with his resting time. Okay. That if he goes and plays for them, it breaches protocol. But at the same time, I saw John Dobson saying that Evan Roos isn't actually out the race for Rassie. I think he's still got a lot to put up his hand.
No, I think he's still in the running. I just think it's sort of a lesson. He needs to time.
But at the same time, I don't think Rassie showed all his cards with all the players that he's got in mind.
Probably not.
Because Roos was in the 80-man squad, not in the 50-man squad. But the fact that he was there and a bunch of other players were also there makes me think there's still a possibility that he's like, all right, listen here, guys. You might not play this game or this game or this game, but you'll probably be playing this game or this game and this game. and also there's still end of year tour coming up as well. So he has to keep the players' management to a point that they don't burn out, which I think is part of the problem. Like we saw in the finals, was it literally got to a point where the players were burning out because they play a full top 14, they play a full premiership, they put all their effort into those competitions to go and win it, but they're getting to the stage where they are literally getting burnt out. And the top 14, I don't think is like halfway through yet, because they're talking about the final is only happening when they go and play against New Zealand, which New Zealand is getting upset the fact that there's a third string French side coming down to them.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a full strength side there. That would be sure. Because wow, French rugby looking good, huh?
But you see, that's the thing.
Love to see it to head there. That's oh wow.
Yeah. But again, that just shows you how it overlaps with the international. I know we used to have problems with the likes of Brian Abana when he was playing for Toulon, that for certain games he wasn't available because it's technically outside the international window.
Correct.
So
everyone fluctuates a lot too.
Yeah, and I mean I do think that kills Northern Hemisphere rugby, and I think that's why Rassie is now being very clever with this huge squad. The fact that last year he used 51 players through the whole year. And I think it was the most by any international team, and we only lost like 1 or 2 games literally that whole time, being Argentina and Ireland. But
the drop goal,
yeah, but it worked. It worked in the fact that there were so many players unavailable and everything. Also, I think people think he's mad because I'm almost done watching Chasing the Sun too. I finally managed to find somewhere I can watch it. And like watching it, like even though I know the results, I'm still like sitting there like, oh gosh, what the suspense and everything. And like hearing that whole fact that like, yo, Malcolm Marx got injured. Oh no, bring Andre Pollard. Everyone's like, but you need a hooker. And I still think Rassie plays a very sticky game with the likes of
he had Skulk Brits. Yeah.
No, but don't forget Dion Fourie was also.
He had Dion Fourie and Skulk Brits. He had two backup hookers.
Yeah, but Skulk Brits was 2019. Dion Fourie was 2023. But the thing is, have you noticed a couple of times where Dion's been on the bench, even though he's been on the bench as replacement hooker, he's come on as flank.
Yeah, so he's versatile. He can play 6 or 2. So he can cover both positions.
In modern day rugby, when do you hear a front row or any front row player playing a full 80 minutes?
I mean, it's not often these days.
Yeah, exactly. South Africa's done it at least 3 times with Dion on the bench. Because then they'll take off Sia and they'll leave Bongi or Marks on.
Yeah.
Knowing that if he got injured, oh, okay, cool, slip in. I still remember when Dion first moved from hooker to flank, there was one game where Skara got a yellow card in a Super Rugby match. And Dion then slotted in, and Andre Rubé was the ref, and turned around and goes, no, but someone has to go off for the hooker. He was like, no, but I am a hooker.
Yeah.
It just like works out. Like, oh, you got a yellow card. Okay, Dion, there you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and he was a good hooker, man.
He was.
Very good.
I always thought he got overlooked. But unfortunately,
at
that time,
he had a really good season. He had a really good season not too long ago, and I really thought that was his time, and they just didn't pick him. And I was pretty sure he was a shoo-in. He was like, he had a really, I can't remember the exact year, but he had a blinder. And I
Yes.
thought,
Before
wow,
he
this
went.
is his. And I thought this
Yeah.
was his season. It just didn't come.
Yeah,
So
it was
yeah,
before he
I
went to
think he was
France.
overlooked. Yeah, yeah,
And he was captain at that stage. And I mean, he was fantastic. I mean, when he was at hooker, I thought he maybe got overlooked because we had the likes of Bismarck and John Smith there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Bismarck was something else. You
but
can't.
it was before the time of the bomb squad, because bomb squad now is
Yeah,
packed with forwards, whereas beforehand it was like, okay, cool, you need to have 3 backs, 5 forwards, stuff. Now it's like, oh no, 6-2, there you go, it's fine, you guys can play.
yeah. I mean, he's even played a 7-1 before.
Yeah, so yeah. But anyway, it's a quick episode this week because there's only
That's
4
it.
games, which we will
Yeah.
follow up on the results, and it'll probably be an even shorter episode unless we have Jacques and Dara busy fighting each other about the results.
I think they'll get into a little debate. One of them is going to bring up the ref. I think it's going to be Shark. What do you think?
Yeah, but remember, guys, remember to like, share, and to subscribe. Please leave comments below, and everything like that. Tim, thanks very much for joining me this week.
It's a pleasure, my man.
Cheers, guys. Keep up. Bye.
Cheers, brother.